I've been open in my marriage now for like 7 years, but I mean, there was a foundation that was certainly built. It's amazing, but you've got to have that foundation.
Welcome to Come Talk with Aimee, the podcast where sex isn't whispered about, it's talked about out loud. I'm Aimee, your host and intimacy coach, here to spark raw, playful, and unfiltered conversations about relationships, desire, and everything in between. No shame, no scripts, just real talk about what really turns us on. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Come Talk with Aimee. Yes, loves. Oh my God, I am freaking out. I am a fangirl. We have licensed clinical social worker, certified sex therapist, author, content creator, and comedian, Dr. Lee Phillips, in the studio with us today. Welcome, Dr. Lee.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be with you.
Yeah, same. This is such a pinch me moment. I am obsessed with everything that you put out there online. Oh my God. And to be able to chat with you IRL, like, hello,
Hello.
fangirl moment.
I'm a fan of yours too.
Oh, yay. Thank you. We love it. So, Dr. Lee, before we get into today's topic, I want to know what has been getting you hot and bothered lately.
It's always the locker room at my gym. It just is. It's the Equinox locker room. And I live in New York City and I live on the Upper East Side. And it's all those Jewish daddy finance boys.
That's amazing. They'll do it to you. Woo!
They will. They will. They're walking around in the locker room and I'm just sitting there like I'm about to like pass out right now. And then of course the weather, it's starting to get a little warmer. So that does it too. The birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees, honey. You know,
All of the things. At least at Equinox, they have towels for you, right? And benches for you to sit down.
they do, but the towels are no fun. They're there, but I mean, they're better when they come off, in the steam room.
Yes.
It's nice
I
though. It's
love
a
it.
great place to relax and see some great eye candy. So hey, you gotta love it.
Check and check. And you get your workout done. Like,
Yes, you
amazing.
do. It's amazing. It's fabulous. That would be what's getting me hot and bothered all the time.
Yes, we love that. I mean, hello. Shout out to Equinox. They are not sponsored, but you should be Equinox. Oh my God. So you talk about Equinox and the locker room, the sauna, like they come up
Yeah.
in your content quite a bit.
Yep. All the time because I spend so much time there. It's like 2 blocks from me, from my apartment, so I just walk over and I'm always there. It's part of my
Yeah.
routine. So I find myself in these environments to do content and make myself look crazy because I feel
I
crazy
love
when
it.
I'm in these environments all the
Right?
time.
And it's so relatable. Like, bring it to the people. Give us what we need and want, right?
Yeah, it is relatable because other people resonate with it. They find themselves in these different crazy situations. Whether you're going on a crazy date or you're having an interaction with someone. Yes, it is New York City, but I mean, anywhere, right? You could be in like, I don't know, like Nebraska and have a crazy interaction and someone could see my content and go, oh my gosh, that happened to me, right?
Yes. I love it. I love it. As I mentioned in the beginning, you have so many, like, just a wealth of experience, knowledge, like sex therapist, actor, writer, comedian, all of the above. So, what are some of people's interpretations when they check you out online? Like, who's sliding in your DMs? Give us the tea.
All kinds of people. People think that I'm kind of like running like an immersive like experience or something. I mean, there's like a therapy session and then maybe a monologue and then there's a hookup or, something like that. And, people are asking, is this covered by my insurance or is there a drink minimum to this? I mean, and
Yes.
if I could fit the bill for emotional insight and applause, I would. So, I mean, it's all the things. I kind of feel like I'm a little bit of a jack of all trades in a way. I started out as an artist and an actor and a dancer before I went into being a therapist. And then I became a sex therapist. And it's all just come together. I feel like there is a relationship between theater and acting and psychotherapy. I mean, I am able to like dig up my traumatic childhood and acting, and then I can bring that into a therapist's room as a therapist. So it's just great work. All of it is. I'm genuinely love what I do. And I think that's great because a lot of people struggle with saying that, you know?
Yes, absolutely. And like, oh my God. I mean, I watch your content, I laugh, I like walk away with insights for the day. It's so amazing. And I
Mhm.
have to tell you, I actually totally forgot about this, but I signed up for the apps. I was off the apps for like ever. But something you, I don't know if it was last summer. Yes, it had to have been last summer. You were talking about your sexting, like somebody you've been sexting with for a year. And I was like, I need that type of relationship. So I went on the apps to like see if I could find that. I'm like, I need a sexter, like solely sexting.
That's amazing. No, I think it's fun. There are sexting relationships out there, or situationships, whatever you want to call it, or just a sexting friend that you can kind of meet on an app and you can chat and, see some pictures of each other. And this guy's in New Jersey, and I still sext with him all the time. I've been sexting with this guy for like over 5 years, and
So hot.
I have never met him. Never. It's fascinating. And people are like, don't you want to meet him? And I'm like, I really don't. I feel like it would take away the fun of what
Yes.
the little bit of the relationship that it is. It's erotic. That's the thing. We need to look at eroticism more. It's what makes sex so much more fun because we all have an erotic template in us. And so that's part of my erotic template is finding someone to do this with. And it's at 5 a.m. I mean, he's a lot younger than me too. I'm like, I am struggling. I am 47 years old. And you were like starting to message me at 4:45 and I'm hitting snooze. And then I get up and I got my coffee and I'm talking about dick.
I
I mean,
mean, there were things to wake up to with coffee. Coffee with a side
coffee.
of dick, please.
Yeah, coffee and a side of dick, please, in the morning. It's not bad. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so great that you did that. I mean, that's the whole point of doing a lot of the comedy is to share that so people can go, oh my gosh, that's me, or I want to try that.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my God. So let's get into non-monogamy, like ethical non-monogamy, especially like in the gay scene. Like I love all of your posts about Grinder gone bad or showing up to a guy's apartment with all of the candles going, What is that
Oh
company?
my
I can't
God.
think of like the specific company that you talk about that.
Oh yeah, so many different kinds of guys. I'll chat with them for like a week. I'll give it a couple days. I'm not going to chat with a guy for like 30 minutes and then go to his apartment. I just, in my 20s, I did randos. I mean, now I've grown a lot and I get a little bit more freaked out about that. But if I chat with someone for about 4 or 5 days and they want to meet up, if they want to meet for a coffee or a drink first, that's better. But I will go to their place after. I prefer to meet in public first. And then I've had some great experiences, and then there have been some messes that have just given me this great content to like put out there into the world because I don't see many people doing that. And so I'm like, let's talk about real life experiences from a sex lens. Like I'm out in the environment like other people would be, like clients or something. And so that's where I feel I'm somewhat different in my field. I love the people
Absolutely.
in my field. I follow them. They're my colleagues. But I feel like there's just more to me than just doing therapy. And that's why you see the comedian, the actor, and all of those things. Right.
Yes, the coffee shop, the people
Oh
on the street calling your
gosh.
dogs ugly. You have like the cutest dogs.
Thank you. They are adorable. They're very sweet dogs. And they're a handful. They can be. But they're so sweet though. I love them. And people love them when they're in public. But I had that interaction with that woman one day. It was crazy. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make some content about her. So people need to be careful with me on the street because I'm gonna like say something.
Yes. Shame on. Yes, we love it. Okay, so going back to non-monogamy, like on Instagram, you share posts about non-monogamy being more about consent and alignment more than rigid rules. So for people who are listening in at home, how would you describe that non-monogamy or ENM is more than just more dates as some people commonly think of it?
Oh yeah, all the time. That's a huge misconception. E&M, it's not about more people, right? I mean, it is about having more clarity. People think that expanding your options, they think it's expanding your options, but really it's expanding your responsibility to communicate and what you want in your relationship. So if you struggle to express needs, boundaries, or expectations with one partner, adding more people does not solve that. It multiplies the confusion. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's not more dates, it's more conversations that you really can't avoid. So if a couple is interested in opening up their relationship, in my opinion, because I've been doing this work now for 16 years, they have to be in a great place with each other. They can't be in a place they're so connected sexually and emotionally, because then you're asking for a disaster to happen in the relationship. Now, they can be platonic and not sexual and know that and know they both want to branch out and have sex with other people or to explore just diversity. And that's perfectly okay if they're healthy. That's what it comes down to. And of course, that lovely word, communicate, which is all about relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like something I see that is a red flag, and but happens a lot is when people open up their relationship to try and fix it. Like they feel like that's going to help solve things. And like you said, it could help people find something that they may be currently missing in their relationship,
Right.
but
Right.
it's not a replacement for therapy.
It's not a replacement for therapy. You have to be connecting on some type of level to make it work. A lot of times I find in relationships when people get together and after a year or being 2 years together, the sex decreases anyway. It just happens. So we see the intimate desire paradox quite a bit. And so that's when the eroticism breaks off because you become so close like family. Now, if they want to reclaim things and they want to open it up to make things more exciting, whether they do that together or separately, that's great. But if there is constant conflict in the relationship and they're like, you know what, we just need to open things up because we're not doing well, that's when it's going to be a disaster. And sometimes those couples end up in my office.
Probably more often than not.
They do. They do. They're like, we're not working out. I'm like, well, when's the last time, you were connecting with each other? And they're like, oh my gosh, it's been so long. I feel like, so we opened it up to try to make things better, but it only made us more disconnected because we weren't doing well.
Yes, that foundation is so fucking huge. What are other things that you wish everyone understood about ethical non-monogamy before they try it out, especially gay men on dating apps?
I think that it's really important for people to understand what it is. A lot of people don't understand the meaning of it. It is an umbrella, and there are certain things that fall under it, right? You have open relationships where you just open things up and you may casually have sex and date. You have swinging, which is a very old word. And I tend to see that in more, cis heterosexual relationships with some of my clients, but I do have a few gay men or a couple who will do that. And then you have polyamory, which is full on having more than one intimate relationship, right? And so I think people have to understand what it is and they have to have clarity. You have to know what that is. And then you need to be curious of each other on why you want it. What's fascinating is that sometimes two gay men, I find, one partner may identify more polyamorous and the other one may identify just more open, where they can see sex as being transactional. That would be me. My love bucket is filled with my husband when it comes to an emotional connection. I've never shut the door on polyamory. But I just honestly, I don't know. I mean, I feel like that is filled already, but I'm a very sexual person and I love the diversity of sex. I love how each partner is different in sex. It's amazing. But you've got to have that foundation. I've been open in my marriage now for like 7 years and we'll get more into that. But I mean, there was a foundation that was certainly built first before doing that.
Yes, absolutely. And it's so important to know, like, out of the gate, what you are looking for in opening up, and so, like, I actually had somebody ask me once whether or not I identified as polyamorous or E&M. And I was like, E&M, like, I have so much going on. I'm a single mom. My family situation is like really complex. Like, all of my emotional energy right now goes towards my daughter for the most part,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
just like us surviving and thriving. I just like having sex. Like, I love connecting with people sexually and getting, yeah, different relationships fulfill me in different ways sexually. And I said to her, I was like, I have the emotional intelligence to be polyamorous, but that's just not what I choose to do, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because I think it takes so much work. One relationship where you are intimate emotionally and sexually and you share things together, that takes a lot of work. And you don't want to think of relationships like work, but they are work, maybe a different type of work, but they take a lot of effort. And it's not about doing the best you can in relationship. It's an effort you put into it. I tell you what, when I meet people who are polyamorous and they got 3 or 4 fucking boyfriends and girlfriends, I'm like, good for you. I don't know how the hell you do it because
Yes, same.
I'd be a bitch all the time because I would not have time to put into
I
those
know.
relationships. I mean, I would stretch myself too thin. And I feel like sometimes I already do that now.
Right? It's very impressive. People who do that, it's very, very
Yeah.
impressive.
It's really cool when I see it too. Like I saw like a fucking quad in the grocery store last week and I was like, damn, that's kind of hot. I'm like,
Yes.
you can share finances and you don't have to be poor all the time and you can pay bills with each other. Then I thought maybe I should do that with my husband.
Right? You're like, "Wait a minute. Hmm."
Let's find 2 men like help us.
Yes, right? Like, there's some benefits here. I see it, I see it. So, in your therapeutic work, I'm curious, do you see the different communication patterns between you mentioned, different people who see themselves as open, swingers versus polyamorous versus E&M, et cetera?
Yeah, I will say that when I have had couples or people in relationships who identify polyamorous come into therapy, I feel like a lot of them have already done the homework in a lot of ways. There may be a new person coming into their relationship constellation where they're trying to adjust with them, or there are some communication issues that have arrived with other partners. Their communication tends to go a lot, it's more simple in a way. They have their issues like everybody else, but people who have never done it before, who think they know how to do it, come in and they find that they're just becoming very anxious and that anxious attachment type of thing. They may be experiencing jealousy and they've never experienced it before. But I always tell people don't go into ethical non monogamy thinking you won't get jealous because you will.
Yes, exactly. How do people it's about how you navigate that, right?
It's how you navigate it. Yeah. Right. You have to talk about it. You have to come together and talk about your insecurities. We all have insecurities in relationships. So we have to normalize that shit and be like, hey, I'm a little anxious that you're going out with this person. I thought I could handle this and I'm having some feelings about it because I think the person always feels they're going to leave. They're going to leave.
Right.
Find someone better than me and you're going to be gone. And that's not the case. And I think that it's the insecurity coming out that we internalize so much. So we have to work with jealousy and know that it is something that we all feel. And I think that's what I do as a therapist more than anything in my work is normalizing shit.
Right. No, it's true.
You're
Like,
going through
this
is
is
it's
normal.
normal. You're not crazy, you're not odd, you're going through this. I still experience jealousy. My husband had a date the other day and he has not dated like in a year. I'm the one who's going out with fucking men and, having fun.
And you're like, "Wait a minute.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me? You have a date?"
He met a guy on Feld and he's like, I'm gonna go meet this guy that I've been chatting with. And I was like, what? I was like, wait a minute. And the whole time he was gone, I'm not gonna lie to you. I came home. I think I went to Soul Cycle, I went to the gym, I came home and I was like looking at his location.
I love it. I love
I'm like,
it.
where is he at now? So they went out for coffee and then they were at the friggin' Chelsea Piers. And I'm like, why aren't they at the Piers?
I mean,
He comes home and I had a little bit of an attitude. I did. I got a little reactive because it's just been so long. And the way that we view non-monogamy a little differently. Like I said, I'm very transactional. I can meet a guy, chat with him. I'm ready to get it on. My husband really has to have an emotional connection with someone before he can even be sexual. He's a little bit on the demi spectrum, and that's cool. And I know that about him, but since he hadn't done it in a year, because he was changing careers, I had to like warm up to that.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that you bring up that, like, in partnership, like your partner, you may be viewing like how you're ethically non-monogamous, differently in partnership, right?
We're very different. We have our relationship, and then we're very different in the way that we do it. He's not on any apps. Mine are constantly going off. Bling, bling, bloop, bloop. Hey, you looking? Big dick? You want this right
Yeah.
now? I'll be sitting down having dinner, and my grinder will just start. Broop, broop, broop.
You're like, another dick pic over asparagus. Whatever.
That's funny. Yeah, exactly. And he's like, "Oh my God, you're on your phone again." So what I do is I really try to disconnect when I'm with my husband as much as possible. And that's another thing. If you're opening things up, have your pockets of window when you are on your apps. It's all about communication when you're scheduling things. Always have a damn Google Calendar, man. You can't go wrong.
We love those calendars. Oh my God. Lifesavers, lifesavers.
Yes.
Let's talk some of the apps. Okay, dating profiles. What are some like oh no's, hell no's that you've seen out there? We need to
Oh my
hear.
God. The one thing that I can't fucking stand is when someone says no drama, chill only, and don't be weird. First of all, if I see that, you are a fucking drama queen if you say no drama, because that's what I've experienced. So I talk about it. And this person is way over the top usually. When they say don't be weird, they are the weirdest fucking person I have ever met in my damn life. They are like insecure sometimes, but that's it's basically someone announcing that they lack emotional regulation sometimes or
Yes.
they're not emotionally available or something. And that's all they put on a profile. They don't, I mean, you don't have to write a dissertation, but at least write a little bit more to give me something. I feel like it's a warning label when I see that.
It's a total red flag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a red flag, no drama. Ugh, you're gay. You're dramatic.
Oh my God.
We're all dramatic.
Yeah. You're like, what do you mean no drama?
I'm like, come on, sweetie. Come on. You can be masculine as masculine as you want. You're still dramatic.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Let the drama happen.
Let it
Let it
happen.
unfold. What are on the flip side, like what are some golden things that you see on profiles where it's like, yes, I need to see this person immediately?
I love it when someone can ask like a clear, grounded question. Like when they're like, what are you in the mood for? What are you looking for on here? Like you're on this app. It could be, I don't know, it could be Hinge, it could be Grinder, it could be Feld, it can be any of them. I think someone who's just very kind and they want to know about your mutual experiences, not just their agenda when they want to ask more questions about you. There's a level of respect and awareness there that I think is great. And so you can co-create something, which I think is rare and it's very attractive, especially if you are attracted to their picture. But I got to tell you, sometimes when I get these damn messages like that, I'm like, are you a fucking bot?
Yes.
Are you real, sweetie? And when they are
I
real, I'm like,
know.
oh man, I want to meet you right now. I love questions like that. Curiosity, not just like, hey, looking, what's up?
Curiosity leads to the coming.
Yes, I love it. I just love it when people can, and they know what they're maybe looking for on an app, but they're very curious about what you're looking for. I think that's very attractive.
So fucking hot.
It
So hot.
is.
So curious because you once said therapy is about real conversations. What's the most memorable grinder text disaster you've witnessed that could have been avoided with one extra clarifying question?
Oh gosh, I think when I had someone that said just host, and they think it meant emotionally availability and connection, when really it was like it's a turnoff. Like they probably can't, they don't even have an apartment. That's the fucking problem with New York City. Everyone has a damn.
Oh my God.
I'm like, man, that entire situation could have been avoided with one follow-up question, but people skip clarity because they want the fantasy to stay intact. That's the problem. Like, hey, can you host? Not like a hello, not like how's it going? I just had a grinder nightmare recently where someone did that. They were just like, hey, can you host? No picture at first, not a hello, just host.
What am I hosting? I need more details to go on.
You know what's funny is that there's so many people that won't even respond to that, but because I am the type of person that I am and I feed into shit like this, I was like, host, where? Do you have a picture? what are you looking for? You know? And
I
then he
love
sent
it.
me like a picture, you know, and his sunglasses. First of all, I can't stand it. I need to see your eyes. And then his album, which was his goods, which were quite lovely, but just kind of, it was for some reason I couldn't get into it because it was just kind of a disaster because of the way he opened up with things. And I was like, I'm not into this, you know? So, you know, it's funny. I complain about that people can't host, but I don't like really going to other people's houses, which
Do
is
you
funny.
often host? Do you end up
I
hosting?
do sometimes because my husband's not here, or he'll like leave. He's so respectful. He's like one day he cleaned the apartment for me and washed the sheets because I was having one of my very good friends over. I love it. My husband has so much compersion. He's like, I made the bed for you. I got the sheets out. I'm going to take the dogs to daycare and I'm going to leave the apartment. I was like, oh my God, I'm in heaven right now. I have the best fucking husband ever.
I love that. I love it. It reminds me, I totally forgot about this. I went on this date once and the person was married, but they were, in an open relationship. And he was texting his wife, like, oh, can, she come over? And she was like, she knew about the date. And so she was like cleaning the house and like left out drinks and all this stuff. I was like, this is great.
That's amazing. I love
I
that.
know.
It makes it so much more fun.
Yes, exactly. I know. But yeah, that just like host what? Yeah, so communication starts at the profile. Like that's where the communication starts.
Right. Yes. And a lot of times, I know it's a hookup app sometimes, right? And that's what you're there for. But still, you have to like ease into it to get the person's attention because otherwise it can be a turnoff for other people.
1,000%. So on your Instagram, like you've joked about reminding people not to text their ex when lonely. Hello, we've all been there.
Yes, we have.
But as a therapist, I'm curious, what's the real like emotional driver behind that impulse? How do you help people unpack it?
It's not about really missing the person. It's about wanting relief from the discomfort that you're feeling. In terms of like loneliness, boredom, anxiety, those states that make people reach for something familiar. So, what I do is I help clients slow it down. That's the first thing that we have to do. And then name the feeling underneath. When you realize I don't miss them, I miss feeling regulated, you can make a different choice. It's not about the person. And when they find that out, they're like, oh my gosh, you're absolutely right. Let me just get back on an app and like start talking to other people and see where I can go with that. Because that's really what's happening. It's really this release that you need and something more that's going on underneath. And people will say that all the time. I texted my ex the other night. And I'm like, okay, well, why did you do that? Oh, because, I think I missed them. And I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about what really happened in the relationship again. And then we clear that up. And it's about you miss feeling regulated. You miss having that type of connection because people really do want to be in serious relationships. And we talk about that. I'm also a dating coach. But then we also, and we work with that. But then we have people that just want to get laid. And I'm like, just say you want to get some ass. I mean, damn.
Yes, lead with that. You'll find your people. There are
Whatever
plenty of
you're
us out
feeling.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's what it's about. Yeah, they always come in misunderstanding it. But that's what therapy does. You kind of come in, you have a behavior, you have a feeling. We talk about that. And then we realize, oh my gosh, I can change that. I don't have to stay in that type of rut. I don't have to stay in the quicksand. I can move forward. Absolutely.
I love it. And it is, right? Often it's not about that person that you're like wanting to reach out to or you're thinking about.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Right.
bring in that curiosity to
Yeah.
yourself, right?
All the
Mhm.
time.
We
Right.
want it from other people. Like give it to yourself too, honey.
That's right.
So going back to jealousy, when somebody says, I can't be jealous, like what's your go-to question that, to make them think about like, what is that jealousy? Like what is behind the jealousy?
I usually say to them, you can't do jealousy, or you don't want to sit with the vulnerability that comes with caring. Because underneath that jealousy is like an iceberg. You see what's on top, but underneath, there's these other feelings. And so jealousy isn't the problem. It's the meaning people attach to it. Avoiding it doesn't make you evolve. It just makes you less honest. That's what it does.
Yes, damn.
You know,
Right.
I mean, that's really what it's about. We were saying earlier, it is a normal type of an emotion to have that comes over us when we're opening something up in a relationship. And a lot of people, they will come in and they will say, you know, I have never felt jealousy before until I did this with my partner. And it can come on you very fast. I was the one
Yeah.
who proposed to open my
That's what
marriage.
he said.
Right. I was sitting at a French restaurant in DC at the time. That's where my husband and I were living. And we were at a bar in this French restaurant and we were drinking wine. And I was like, you know, I really love you, but I really want to open things up. And he was like, wow, I'm glad you said something first because I want to. I was like, really?
I
The
love
next
that.
day, I get out of work. I was working at a group practice at the time. And he's like, I've already downloaded Scruff and I've been chatting with 5 guys. And I'm like, fuck, I haven't even downloaded an app. And I got jealous. I was on the metro like this little kid pouting. I'm like, oh, he's already into it so much.
You're like, what?
Fast. Yeah. And I got really insecure. I did. And the first night he had a date, I was in a session with a client. And I feel bad because in my mind, I was really trying to focus on my session, but I'm thinking my husband is about to go on his first date since opening our relationship. And I got home from work and you can tell where he was trying to find the right outfit in the closet. Like there were clothes kind of thrown around. There was a bottle of lube that had been opened and the
Uh-oh.
smelled like his cologne. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And when he got home, I was just like, wow.
I mean, this is the real stuff that happens,
This is
right?
what happens. And I was like, oh
Reality.
my gosh, oh my gosh. And he was like, well, the guy didn't talk much at dinner, so it didn't really go anywhere. And I was kind of like relieved, but I could tell that he was disappointed because I think they had really connected on Scruff first. So, but it was hard in the beginning. It really was. I mean, I would get this pit in my stomach all the time. But then I started doing it and I started having fun and I started having a lot of sex. I enjoyed it. We moved and to out of our apartment to another place and I started sleeping with my neighbor and it was fun and he supported it.
I love that. Well, and I love that too. Like you bring up such like a huge piece of it too is how to support your partner through like all of the different emotions that they're navigating, the rejection, the excitement, right? The jealousy, like all of those things, like being there, like you're experiencing it, they're experiencing it and experiencing it together. Like
Yeah.
awesome.
And he was supportive. He's like, what can I do to help you? Because I'm definitely more secure than you are. And I was like, well, I
I
love that
love it.
you check in with me and, you know, and ask how I'm doing. And I'm not ready to fling myself or kill you. So, hey, you know, we're good.
But again, it goes back to like knowing yourself, knowing your partner, right? Setting up that
Ah,
communication.
yeah, that's
So
right. Because you know
huge.
you're so different from each other. And sometimes you realize how different you are when you go into this type of lifestyle orientation. You realize how the type of men who are in to me are different from the men who are into my husband. It's so fascinating. I could go on Scruff and it's like fucking crickets for me because they love bald bearded men and I'm a femme and I go on Grinder and I get all these DL guys and like men who are in the closet and all this other shit. And it's like, and then my husband sees those men who were hitting on me and he's like, damn, that guy is hot, but he's only into femmes. He's like, fuck you. No.
I love
I
it.
told my husband, I
I
said, if
love
we go
it.
to Bear Week up at Cape Cod at P Town, I said, you will be getting eaten alive and I will be in the corner eating a lobster roll.
They're
Literally.
gonna claw that bear. Yeah. That's amazing. I love it. So, speaking on communication, like, what's one ridiculously useful communication skill that people hate practicing in E&M, but later they're going to thank you for in your office?
Saying what you want before you have a problem. People wait until something goes wrong and then express their needs and then it's reactive. So proactive communication feels awkward at first, but it prevents so much unnecessary conflict. If you can do that first, you're going to be golden. If you don't do that and you hold your feelings in all the time, that's going to be very difficult. Now, each couple is going to be different. I mean, I have a few folks that I see in therapy who are on the autism spectrum. They may be on the high end. And so we have to look at family history in terms of emotions. Like, I have a difficult time expressing my emotions. I was never taught or had the invitation to express my emotions as a child because I grew up in this like conservative family where you just didn't talk about your feelings. So we have to look at that. And I think sometimes it gets kind of pushed off, and I think that's a key thing that therapists have to do. That's why when I see a couple, I'll see them first. And then after the couple session, the first intake session, I will see them for 2 individual sessions. So I get more of their background. So, what were they like growing up in their childhood? How was love given to them? How did they express that? What did disappointment look like? You can really start to get a feel on their attachment history by doing that. So, that's something that I think is really important. And if you can talk about that beforehand, that's going to be great. Now, if you're having a problem talking about it, coming into therapy, we can do some skills to get you there. So, we also see that too.
Yeah, huge. Because it's a muscle. Like, you gotta, like, practice that communication. It's not like you just straight out the gate are like, "Okay, now communicate."
Yeah, yeah, how have you been taught to communicate, right? So there's things that you've got to think about before you go into doing that. But if you have that ability and you've been doing that, then what was the communication pattern like prior to E&M, and how can you express your feelings? And sometimes I have people that come in and they only need a few sessions because they had healthy communication previously. So it's going to depend on what they were like prior to opening their relationship, what we were talking about earlier, where some people aren't doing well prior and then they're like, well, let's just open it. And then that's the disaster piece.
Yeah, that is a disaster waiting to happen. Some dates can feel more vulnerable than others. Like, maybe it's those first few dates, or maybe it's some that you're like really excited about. How do you help people differentiate between healthy fear and caution?
Yeah, right. Fear is loud, it's urgent, it's vague, and it says something's wrong. Caution tends to be like quieter. It tends to be quieter and more specific. It says, here's what I need to feel safe. So, what I do is I'd really try to help my clients identify, whether they can name the concern clearly. And if they can, it's usually caution. If not, we have to slow down. So, because when the
I
anxiety
love that.
nervous system gets ramped up, that's when they start to go into the fear mode where it's urgent and it's not clear what's happening from a healthy caution before they can potentially, be vulnerable. And that's so important. And then there's this idea that a lot of times that vulnerability is looked at as weakness, and it's not. It's you just coming in with your feelings, no matter what they are in that moment, because your feelings matter. So sometimes when I say that, we tend to see them go a little quieter. You see the anxiety rev down a little bit, which is really nice.
Yeah, but can you talk about how that fear of vulnerability, like in society, and like, don't be vulnerable, don't lead with emotions, etc. Like, how does that do a disservice to us?
Well, I think it is so taught to us as a child and other previous relationships where we feel we have to put up a shell around us. And so what I try to do is really try to break that down. And sometimes I can be very successful with it, and sometimes a client may not budge on it. They're like, I cannot be vulnerable. I don't know how to do that. So we try to work with what we can and try to express that another way. So if someone has a hard time really expressing that, I try to get an idea. This is where I go into like somatic work. I'm like, well, what's happening in your body? Because sometimes when someone's vulnerable, they may feel it in their back, their chest, their stomach. So I'm like, that may be vulnerability when you're feeling that. And sometimes that's not going to feel great, but that's what you need to feel first. I've always believed that when people first start therapy, they are going to experience a whirlwind of emotions, especially when you're coming in with E&M. And we have to try to name those emotions. And when they can do that, that's where the caution tends to come in, and it can be somewhat quiet. A lot of times when a couple comes in and they're first meeting me, they're already anxious, they're already nervous. So we have to slow down already because they're so like, oh my gosh, we're going to do this and never done therapy before, or things didn't go well with our last couple's therapist. So there's a lot of like ambivalence sometimes. But once you can build that rapport and that trust comes in, I find that people can be vulnerable and they can really express what's really going on with them. And that's a really big growth edge in therapy.
Yeah, so, so huge. Like, shout out to therapy. We love therapy.
We love it. We love it. I go once a month now. I was going weekly at one time and then every other week. And, my therapist,
Yeah.
he knows I'm a therapist. I feel like I can take that therapist hat off and just kind of go in as myself. And it's very powerful. I mean, I feel like it's only made me a better therapist by doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I always say that we can all benefit from therapy, you know?
Absolutely.
It's so interesting what I'm this is like a huge deviation, but just shout out to therapy and like my own purity background and conservative background. My dad, like this was a few years ago, he was in town. At the time, I was in a severe bus accident in India where I broke 5 of my thoracic vertebrae, punctured both of my lungs, like broken basically most of my ribs. So I was also in physical therapy. So I grew up Mormon, and so there's a Mormon temple right in Upper West Side, right? So I was gonna drop him off, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm going to therapy." And he assumed physical therapy, and he knew that this was, like, kind of part of our thing, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna drop you off." And then I started sharing some things like, "Oh, I'm, in therapy today, I wanna, like, talk about this or this," and he was like, "Wait." Like, physical therapy was okay, but he was just like, "You're seeing a shrink?" And I'm like, "Yes." Like but I'm a huge advocate of therapy.
It's great. And, as a therapist, but even, I just find that it's very powerful, and a lot of my other comedic friends who I have, my other comedians out there, they always talk about being in therapy and then I'm the therapist doing comedy. So it's like,
Yes.
and it's really fun, So, but it's great. Comedy can be a coping skill sometimes, but I mean, I think we have to have those different coping mechanisms that are going to help us, especially if you're going through a hard time in a relationship. So that brings up the question of when someone's opening their relationship, I'm like, what are you doing to take care of yourself as you're navigating this together? Like, what
Yes.
self-care, whatever that is it exercise? Is it meditating? Is it just doing 10 deep fucking breaths a day, right? Like, what is it that you're doing to regulate your nervous system as you're going through this? Because it's very difficult for a lot of people when they get to this point. I will just be honest with you. I don't understand how people can do monogamy. I think it can work for a lot of people, but I think it is so hard. Now, if you would have asked me that years ago, when I was kind of like a prude back in the day, I was like, oh my God, I could never open a relationship. I just could never be monogamous now. I feel like it's a box. And I work with people who are monogamous and I keep my bias out of it because it can work for some people, but it does take a lot of work and it's hard. And I think that people think about being with other people, but they may not try it. And that's okay because that could be their fantasy and we love fantasies. I give kudos to people who can do it. I just can't. I can't imagine having sex with one person for the rest of my fucking life. I'm sorry.
I know. Same. You don't have it. You're in good company. No need to apologize. You're
I
in good
just
company.
can't do it. I'm like, oh my
Right.
gosh. That's what the whole great thing about non-monogamy is. Not the whole thing with more dates and more sex, as we established that earlier, but there's a freedom about it.
Yes, absolutely. And like as you were talking too, I was thinking about people who lean towards monogamy, but then they're always cheating. And it's
Oh
just like,
gosh. Yeah.
that can like
Yeah.
not be a thing. But again, it goes back to the emotional maturity, right?
Right. That's right. That's right. There's a lot of cheating that occurs in monogamy. Yes, we know it can also come in non-monogamy, depending on what's in your non-monogamy agreement. And we do have people that practice polyfidelity, which is great if that's what they do. But yeah, when I do affair recovery, I do infidelity recovery, which I love doing. I hated it at first because it's hard, but I love it. I always tell people I could see like 10 couples a day instead of individuals, and people are like, my head would fall off. But that's when I get excited. Like I could see like 5 or 6 couples a day, and then I'm ready to go do a comedy set. I'm just weird like that. I have so
I
much
love it.
energy, but I love working with more than one person in therapy. So it's very fun. But yeah, there's a freedom to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, can you talk about some boundaries that are important to set and some that maybe people aren't thinking about when exploring E&M?
You've got to definitely be able to have like some type of boundaries. I mean, there's like time and energy. Everyone focuses on sexual boundaries, but I think we also have to look at emotional bandwidth is where things tend to fall apart. Like who gets your attention? How much time are you spending? What happens when it feels, deprioritized? Those are the boundaries that people avoid until they can't. So that's why when people come in, I always talk about, do you have somewhat of a non-monogamy agreement? Like, do you have boundaries already? Sometimes they don't. So we form that in the session. I've helped a lot of people formulate an E&M type of agreement. Sometimes they will print it out and read it to each other in the session. And I think that's great. Yes, there are sexual boundaries that people talk about. Maybe there's no kissing, no fluid bonding, any of that, especially in the beginning when they first get into it. But I think they really have to understand that you do have to have somewhat of an emotional bandwidth when you go into this, because you're going to be communicating about it with your partner on a regular basis. And you got to be able to do that. And I think if you are going to go into this type of lifestyle orientation, especially if you're polyamorous, every partner needs to feel like a priority.
Yes, exactly. That's so important.
Right, because we do have polyamory hierarchy where there is a primary partner and all parties know about that. But then we also have anarchy where there are no limitations there like that, right? So we have to understand the language of it. And are people doing kitchen table poly where they're with their metamors, which is a partner's partner? Are you doing parallel where you know about the person but you don't hang out with them? I mean, there's a lot of things that go into this, and a lot of people don't understand it. That's why I love to teach about it.
Yeah, and it's so important to have those conversations up front and then throughout because that may change. As these feelings come up, you may be like, "Oh, actually, I do wanna meet the person," or you thought you wanted to know everything, and then you're like, "You know what? Actually, you do you. I don't need to know."
Maybe the beginning. That's why I think the agreements they change throughout the course of it, because you become more flexible, the jealousy may decrease, you're more secure in it. Or when that ping comes back where you become insecure, that's where you review things again and you talk about it.
Ever evolving, ever expansive. We love this. Go out and try E&M today. No.
I love it. I approve of it. Yes, come see me if you have any questions.
Yes, exactly. And you have so many like fabulous things going on, comedy. You have a book coming up too. Like, I'm
Yes.
so excited for this.
It's a book on chronic illness and sexuality. That's the other area that I specialize. It's a whole other episode. I work with sex and disability and people who have chronic illness conditions, everything from autoimmune disease to cancer, and helping them reclaim their sexuality, which is another big part of the work that I love doing. There is a serious side of Dr. Lee. And, I've got like a serious
I
side of
don't believe it. No.
a comedic side, but a lot of my chronically ill patients love the humor. It's like a form of medicine to them and they need it. They do
Yes.
need it.
It reminds me, oh gosh, what is that? Dying for Sex? Did you see that?
I didn't see it with Michelle Williams. I need to watch that.
Yes. It is so
Yeah.
good. Like, it
Yeah.
does, because I also dabble in I do more than dabble, but I'm, into BDSM, and it does good justice to the kink community, I would say. And also I was an oncology nurse back in the day, and it does a lot of justice to the element of people who have a chronic illness and caregivers too. Like, there's just so many beautiful elements of that.
Yeah, it's great. There's actually a lot of research coming out on how BDSM and power dynamics exchange or power exchange can be very helpful with working with chronic pain. So, where you focus on the good pain versus the bad pain, which I also teach a class on that too. When I teach sex and disability, I talk about that. So, that's fascinating. And I think we're seeing more folks who are chronically ill who come out as kinky.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and I forgot to mention that as part of your bio that you're also a teacher as well, like a professor.
Yep, I teach at NYU. I haven't taught in a while. There's a gender minorities class that I've taught there.
I thought you said ginger minorities,
Ginger minorities. I like
and I was like,
gingers.
"That's a new one."
I love gingers. I'll teach that class. Whew.
Right? You're like, "Put them all in one room."
Man, I love gingers. Then they're hot, some of them.
That's what's making you, hot and bothered these
I'm
days.
getting hot and bothered because I saw a really hot ginger in the gym this morning. Oh my gosh. I really do like guys with red hair, kind of. I think it's kind of hot. And they're pale looking. I don't like, they can't tan because they'll fry. So they look great.
Yeah.
I like pale guys sometimes. I love all kinds of men.
right.
That's no problem. I have no, honey, it's like a damn buffet with me. I could go over here 1 minute and try this, and then I go over here 1 minute and I like
I
that.
don't see the problem.
Oh, I know. I love all of it and I embrace it. I love every minute of it. You can be black, brown, Puerto Rican, this, that. That's why I love New York City. I went up to Washington Heights. I had to get my I had to get my fingerprints done to get my clinical license in Jersey. Girl, I saw so many damn fine Dominicans. I didn't want to leave that area. I said, I'm about to rent me a studio up here.
Yes. You're like, and yes, you can come over.
Oh my gosh. I felt like I was
I
in
will
another
host in
country.
Washington Heights.
Yeah, everyone was speaking Spanish. I was like, I love it up here. I'm going to come up here and just walk around one day.
This has been so fucking fabulous.
Yes.
Dr. Lee, before we come to completion, is there anything else on E&M or relationships that you just want to tell the listeners at home?
I always just say, stay curious about your partner and get creative with your sex. That is my motto.
Yes.
Curiosity all the way. It is so much meaning behind that word. And I think it needs to be practiced in all relationships, whether it is monogamy, non-monogamy, whatever you're going through. Curiosity is the antidote to defensiveness when you're communicating. So make sure that you are staying curious and listening with what your partner is saying, because we find that a lot of times people are not listening. You're already thinking about what you're going to say when your partner's talking. So stay curious and listen. You're going to be golden if you can do that.
Yes. Out of the gate. I love that. So amazing. Dr. Lee, are you ready to come to completion?
Yes.
Yes, we love to come to completion here at Come Talk with Aimee, aka the rapid fire round. So let's dive in. Dr. Lee, grinder bio red flags that make you think this is going to end in therapy.
No drama, discreet, don't catch feelings. It's basically a checklist for emotional unavailability.
Check and check. I love it. Okay. Grinder bio green flag that makes you think, oh, he's emotionally literate.
In therapy, communicates directly, knows what he wants, he's clear, he's grounded, and he's not afraid of accountability. It's sexy.
Yes, so hot. Hot. All right. One word people use in E&M that immediately makes you nervous.
Vibes. Because it usually means no one wants to define anything.
Vibes.
I like vibes. Like, it's a vibe. I like it, but I hear it way too much in E&M. We're vibing. We got to see what are the vibes. I'm like, bitch, get specific on what you want. No.
It means, yeah, like I'm going to fuck you and I'm going to make you confused.
Right.
I'm going to be the one of those hot and colds in your life.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yep. Yep.
All right. The most overused phrase in open relationship conversations.
We just want to be honest, and yet no one is actually saying anything specific.
I love it. All right. A boundary people swear they have, but fold on immediately.
No sleepovers. That one disappears the second feelings get involved.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That is a thing. Those sleepovers, whoo, they can do you in.
Yes, they can.
Wake up to breakfast and a salute. The emotion that gets mislabeled as jealousy the most.
Fear. Fear of loss, fear of replacement, fear of not being enough.
Damn, that's so good. One thing people think E&M will fix that it absolutely will not.
Communication issues. It amplifies them, if anything. It doesn't fix them. And the therapist is not going to fix you. It's up to you with what you want to do with your relationship.
Yes, huge. All right. The most chaotic time to suggest opening a relationship.
I think when there's conflict, right? I think like right after a fight, maybe, when it's being used like as an escape, not as a choice.
So huge. Yeah. A sentence that guarantees a future therapy session.
It just happened. Nothing ever just happens. It just wasn't talked about.
Going back to that communication, like Emily Moore said, communication is lubrication. All right. The most dangerous word on dating apps.
Oh my gosh. Chill. Chill.
It's the vibes and chill.
Vibes and chill. Because it usually means emotionally unavailable, but wants access.
Those emotionally unavailable men, woo, they get me every
Oh,
time.
you will hear that in my content all the time. Emotionally unavailable. I talk about it all the time. And if you ever come see me in a show in New York City, emotionally unavailability is going to be like a whole entire set eventually. And then, of course, petty with a purpose. That's like the big one. I mean,
Yes.
because I get real petty real quick, but it's for a purpose, I promise.
It's a total purpose. And the purpose is for those of us who are listening in and need a good laugh. No. I literally like sometimes I can just listen to your things on loop. You know, when you put your phone down and there's a reel going, if it's yours, like it's going for like 10 times and I'm just cracking up. It's fabulous. Okay. The no feelings allowed. Is that a realistic boundary or a red flag?
That is a red flag. Feelings aren't optional. Communication about them is, right?
Absolutely. So, what is hotter in E&M, emotional availability or your calendar skills?
Oh my gosh, calendar skills, because without structure, emotional availability, it doesn't actually show up.
You need those calendar skills for sure.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so ghosting or breadcrumbing, which does more psychic damage?
Oh my gosh, it's definitely breadcrumbing because it keeps people stuck in ambiguity and false hope. Totally.
Yeah, the ghosting, you
Yep.
can like choose to create a story or just like choose to move on, right? The breadcrumbing is like,
Right.
ooh,
Yep.
yeah.
With ghosting, a lot of times, if it's a hookup app, like Sniffies, which is what I call Uber dick, because you can see the dick coming to your house, kind of like if it was
All
Uber,
right.
and if you don't like the way the person looks, you just block them. That's a hookup thing.
So you're telling me this app has a marching dicks?
It has
Like,
marching dick. So if the dick is coming to you, it's either in a car or it's on foot.
that's amazing.
It's for the gays, honey. It's a gay app. Half of them are
I
like
love it.
on the DL that are on it, which is great for those guys, I mean, I just feel sorry for the partner that they're maybe doing a lot of this with. That's a
Right.
whole other episode.
Yeah, we have so much, so many things, so many episodes. All right, one emoji that screams grinder disaster incoming.
That damn devil purple sign. That little like with the horns.
I know what you mean, yeah.
It's never as straightforward as it looks. I'm like, what is that? 'Cause it's very naughty, but it's like you don't really know what it means all the time.
Yeah. Random, but like, do gay men use, the googly eyes? Like, do you get that for like,
I never get that. I either get the devil or the purple eggplant,
popular?
the peach,
Oh, yeah.
and then the squirting, like when I'm looking for sex on an app, I'll do the devil sign with little squirts coming out of it.
I love it. I might steal that. I haven't
Totally.
been using the devil emoji. Like all of the other like 3 or 4 emojis you mentioned happen to be the top 4 emojis in my phone.
Yeah.
But the devil one is going to be moving up now.
I
So
love the devil one. That's the one that I use. But I mean, it doesn't really, I mean, it can mean something, but then it always doesn't, you know?
yeah,
It's interesting.
keep them guessing. Keep them
Yeah.
guessing. All right. Final question for Dr. Lee. One thing gay men should stop apologizing for wanting.
I love this question. I think it's so important. So the gays, listen up. Emotional availability, consistency, and actual connection. Those aren't too much. That is clarity. Don't apologize if that's what you want. Now, on Grindr and Sniffies, you may not get it. You may get it more on Hinge, but it's okay if you want that. And let me just say one thing about gays. It's also okay if you want monogamy and you want a husband, build a life. I think there's this misconception in our community that all gay men just have sex and they go out and they party and they go to Pride and da 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 da. If that's what some men do, that's great. Do whatever you want when it comes to your sexuality. That's free. But it's, monogamy works for a lot of people. And and I see gay men that come into couples that come into therapy and they're thinking about having a kid or they're just having some communication issues. It's okay to be curious and to have consistency if you need that clarity, if that is what you're looking for. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, like you do you, but know yourself.
Know
Like if
yourself, right?
anything, like know yourself, know your partner or partners, right? And go have some fucking fun.
Go have fun. Go have fun. If you're monogamous and you go, now I do know some monogamous gay men where they may not open things up when they're home, but when they go on a trip, they may have guest stars come in,
We love that.
which is nice because they're not in the area that they live in. So people won't see them on apps. But if they go to like, I don't know, like to the Caribbean or something, they may put a little post up or something. That's
I
great.
mean, when in the Caribbean, what happens in the Caribbean happens in the Caribbean, you know?
That's right.
I love it. Dr. Lee, this has been fucking fabulous. Thank you so much for feeding my fangirl self here. And before we wrap up, where can people find you at home?
The best place to look for me is definitely on Instagram, Dr. Lee Phillips. But if you also want to email me, if you have any questions, drleephillips@gmail.com.
Amazing. Dr. Lee, big fan. I'm so excited. I am going to come to your show in April.
I'm so
So,
excited. Yeah.
yes, I got my tickets the other day. I was like, I got to bring a friend, you know?
Oh, yeah, please. Yeah, it's going to be so much
Yeah.
fun.
This is amazing. And for everyone at home, tell us in the comments what tips and tricks of Dr. Lee's you are implementing today. How has he changed your swipe game? And as always, remember to masturbate, lubricate, and get it. Thank you for coming. Please come again, and come again.
That's all for today, lover. Remember to masturbate, lubricate, and get it. If you liked this episode, share with a friend, like, subscribe, and as always, thank you for coming. Please come again, and come again.